yes, soul ties are there. Because when you sleep with someone, when you have sex with someone, let's just maybe someone will say sleep, they think when you are parallel next to someone. No, when you have sex with someone, sex is a physical, a spiritual, and a soul act. And in that act, you connect with someone at that level. And there are soul ties that are weak. So you sleep with someone and then the souls don't tie, the spirits don't tie, and it's just, you just continue. But then there are people where you sleep with them, then the soul ties. Because in fact, that thing is not a bad thing. It's supposed to happen in marriage. You're supposed, when you sleep with your wife or your husband, then your souls become one. Now you have become one with your girlfriend, and then you sleep with another one, then there's another one, then you sleep with another one, then your life is, you are connected to all these things.
I thought by the time I'm having my guest today, it will get my wife and I, or my children. Because normally at church, like we will say, my wife and I, we run this church, we are the lead pastors of Mmuso. But then I cannot say even me and my girlfriend.
Don't worry, the Lord will remember you. The Lord will remember you. Your days are coming.
Amen. Please help me welcome the lead pastor of Mmuso Worship, Koketso, the bassist, the songwriter, but again, public speaker. Welcome to Gospel Church with Neil.
Thanks, my brother. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, you can say my wife and I.
No. I mean, my wife is not here. Why must I talk? I don't like gossiping, so I'm not talking about my wife. Yeah.
How is it going, Muruti? Many people, they might know that you started the church, or you and your wife started the church.
Sure.
Just under the lockdown. How is it been, like in 2 or 3 months? We'll be celebrating 1 year.
Yeah. It's been good and challenging. It's been a roller coaster. The lockdown, the stop and go has been quite inconveniencing. But I think we couldn't have picked a better time to plant a church, in the sense that lockdown has been kind of an equalizer, in the sense that people were all sitting at home and watching online. So we all had the same audience, the same platform and everything. So whether you're a big church, a small church, a starting church, a medium church, black church, white church, whatever, we all only had so much we could work with. So it became an equalizer. If you did not capitalize on it, sorry for you. So it was, for an upcoming church, it had its advantages.
Yeah, and I want us to talk about Mmuso. Like, what is Mmuso Church and what is Mmuso Worship?
Sure.
I mean, you are the lead pastor there, so we just need to understand that before we could just get into deep details.
So Mmuso Church is a church, and Mmuso Worship is the team that facilitates worship in the church. But now, while it's a team that facilitates worship in the church, we have set it up as a separate entity that not only worships in the church but also creates music for public consumption. So those. So we have separated them legally. So they are independent. Entities. However, the other is underneath the umbrella of the other.
I think that's good. And I'm proud to say I'm the member or the partner of Mmuso. And it's all about 3 Gs. You grow, you gather, you grow, and you go. And I think that's one thing that drew me closer to
Sure.
the church. I was like, okay, this is what it aligns with what I believe in. And I mean, we're all about the ideology today and the theory. Or like, okay, if this is not my theory, then
sure,
let us into. What's the importance of a local church?
Sure. I think it's the essence of belonging, the essence of accountability, and the essence of growth. I think a lot of people right now they are connected, but they are very alone. They are connected in the sense social media, all those things. They have like 1,000 friends, a million friends, but they are lonely. They don't have real friends. They have virtual friends, and they live off likes from people. They are constantly performing for people to like them, and all those kind of things. But in the local church, you find a space that is healthy. You have real people whom you connect with, and you build a sense of community with. You build a sense of social security with. So you can read the Bible for yourself at home, granted. You can worship alone at the house, granted. But at the heart of every human being, Christian or not, is the desire to love and to be loved, and a sense of belonging. And the local church creates a context where that desire is met.
We are still on the local church, and I mean, you are still a young pastor. You have probably experienced church hurt before.
Okay.
Were you not scared to be the lead pastor of a church, to lead people?
What do you mean, were you, as if it's done? No, I am still scared. You're saying it as if it's done. As if it's a past tense. You're still scared. Listen, man. With the church is growing quite rapidly, and we thank God for that. And that growth is scary, because at some point I just look like, what am I going to do with these people? There's still that sense of fear. It's not. I'll be lying to you if I say I got over it. The trick is not to get over the fear. The trick is to be functional with the fear. And a lot of us, we want the fear to fade before we are functional. And it does not normally work like that. You do it afraid. And that's what we're doing. Every week we show up, afraid or not, and we give it our best shot.
But then, like, having to lead the church, having to lead the people as a pastor, as young as you are.
Sure.
There are a lot of challenges that you might come across every day. There are a lot of issues, like we see every day on social media, pastors' stories about that. Like, how does one say, like, I'm gonna continue doing this? Is it you saying, like, God, you called me for this? Sure. This is your mandate.
And I think the essence is what you just said. So our church is based in Matthew 16 verses 18, where Christ says, upon this rock I'll build my church, a church so expansive with energy that the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. The essence of it, the man of the church, is Christ. So he is the owner of the church. He's the leader of the church. I'm just a steward. And I know that he's more committed to the success of the church than I am. He does not fail. So for as long as I'm aligned to him, I'm going to be fine. So nothing really, it's stressful, but I don't lose sleep over the idea of faith and all that, because I understand that he is ultimately leading church. I don't take ownership of it. And I'm not under the delusion that the people that are sitting in front of me are perfect people. Someone will come and say, oh, this one said 1, 2, 3. I'm like, yeah, it's people. This one gossiped about this one. So I'm kind of like anticipating some of the things that happen. This one is pregnant. I'm like, it's people. And that's what we are dealing with. So I think if you come into leading a church with the idea that everyone catches what you are saying, everyone is excited about what you're excited about, no one is going to gossip, no one is going to hurt another one, no one is going to do this, you're going to get disappointed. In your heart, you need to manage those expectations and know that this will actually happen.
You just mentioned or someone is pregnant, and I'm reminded about situations where we come from. When the lady is pregnant in the church, they'll just put her aside. I'm trying to understand, why is it always the lady who's being suspended? Are you no longer going to serve in church? But you'll find KG on the keys there. But he's the one who impregnated the lady. How come or how do leaders decide about that? Why is it always the lady who's being shamed in the church?
And I'm always careful to speak for leaders that I don't understand their context. So I wouldn't know why they arrive at the decision. But if I was to be in a situation, someone would say, why is it that you are penalizing this one for this sin, but you are not penalizing this one who's sleeping around just because they are not? So a girl would be pregnant and they'll say, why are you chasing me away while others are sleeping around? It's just that they are not pregnant. I'm like, I cannot dress a wound I do not know exists. Do you understand? I can see that you're pregnant and I deal with what I'm seeing. That one is sleeping around. I don't know that they're sleeping around. So you'd find that in some instances, they can see the lady is pregnant. If the lady says no, I'll take then we deal with both of them. Yeah, you understand? But if she does not disclose who child, how are we supposed to know? Do you get what I'm saying? So it's unfair to expect us to cancel Mdu when we don't know if he's the one who child. Not only that, if he was the only one who child.
Okay, I get it. I get it. And I think, like, in that sense, like, even those who will be watching this, but like sometimes you don't have to take the decisions in jail because like you see someone else, or you have to sit down and understand the situation.
Absolutely. We deal with the situations by their merits. We're not just going to be reactionary and then chase people from church because social media is giving us pressure to do that. We sit with every situation with its merit and say, what is happening here? And for that matter, I don't believe in chasing people away from church. That's just not I have never seen someone getting better because they were chased away from church. It doesn't make sense to me.
You also mentioned to cancel someone, and I'm thinking like, we are living in the cancel culture today. You said you're going to cancel it. Does cancel culture exist within the Christian community, if I may put it that way?
Yeah, it does. And now I think Romans 12 says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be continually renewed by the renewal of your mind, transformed by the renewal of your mind. We cannot try to be as naive as to say people are not influenced by what happens around them, right? People are influenced by Twitter and social media and whatever. And as a church, our role is to make sure that people are more influenced by the word of God, by the will of God, by the Holy Spirit. But we cannot shy away from the fact that they are still growing in their walk with Christ and they're influenced by a lot of things. So the cancel culture, is it there in the church? Yes. Is it supposed to be there? No. But it is there. And you know why it's there? Because we have now allowed popular culture to dictate how we do church.
Speaking about that, like the Bible says we should not be equally yoked by the things of the world. So how should us as Christians, let's say, behave around the non-believers, whether at work or in our community? If we are, the Bible, Paul says, like, we should not be equally yoked.
And I think we must always read scripture in context. That was in reference to marriage, to saying getting into a marriage covenant, because that's a covenant, getting into a marriage covenant with a non-believer. So that's, but to chill with non-believers and I think you express, if there's anything that people must encounter when you are with them non-believers, is the love of Christ. Make sure that when they leave, they have experienced the living love of Christ through your presence. Not what you think is right or wrong, but they must just feel like, man, this guy is so loving. He is so welcoming, and they want to spend more time with you. And as they spend more time with you, you begin. I mean, I can tell you my story. When I joined the church, I had like piercings here. I had a piercing here. I had dreadlocks. I had Haile Selassie here on my chest. I had chains. Listen, I had 2 girlfriends in the same church. I was living my best life. I was living my best life. And I got these 2 guys that invited me to their home And they didn't even talk about my chains and my lip ring and everything. They just laughed on me. And over time, I started losing appetite for these things as I started gaining curiosity for what they have. I'm like, why are these guys like this? Why are they so loving, so hardworking, so passionate, so free, so happy? And I am not, with all these things that I'm doing, with all these girls, with all this booze and everything. And I wanted what they had, and my life was changed. Not because they told me what yeah, no, yeah.
We are too deep today, but I just need us to take a little bit short.
Okay.
You are a songwriter.
Yes.
You got our show, so.
Yeah. yeah, no, I am.
For our city.
Sure.
You wrote that song for Mmuso. Yes. It speaks about our city. Is there a message you wanted people to get from that song? What were you going through? What did God say to you about that song?
I think I'm just passionate about spaces. I'm passionate about the city. I don't believe, as Mmuso Church, we always talk about the city.
Yeah.
We don't talk about gathering people for the sake of gathering people. We're always about how are we changing the environment we live in. Our environment is infested with prostitution, drug abuse, corruption, and all these things. And if we are existing as light, all the churches in the city, we are light. All the Christians in the city, we are light. Why is it so much darkness in our city? That we need to ask ourselves that question. Why is there so much darkness? It doesn't make sense. So not just that song. With everything that you hear me talk about, I'm always on there. Guys, our city needs to look different because we are here. If it doesn't, then what is the point? Let's just close shop and go and dance with Zegsban and have fun. Yeah. Yeah, let's go.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful song.
It is.
And you were well sold.
Yes.
How were the days there? Bassist, like we know bassist and breaking ladies' hearts. It's no.
Soul. So I started Soul 2011, I think. And man, it was an incredible journey. I think we were together for about 8 years. Yeah, so it was an incredible journey. We wrote some great music. We traveled around the country. It was good, man. But we grew in our different directions. Some got married. We were still young, passionate. You know, when Paul says, while you are unmarried, dedicate yourself to the things of the Lord. So we had dedicated ourselves to that, and we were doing quite well, you know. But as we grew in our different spaces, got married and all those things, it started just becoming impractical for us to be able to do that. And yeah, then it evolved. I think it evolved. And what did it evolve to what Mmuso is today? Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to see, like we get new songs and all that. I mean, the first album, it's beautiful, not the EP. Even the EP is beautiful. And I believe the second album is coming. Actually,
we are dropping the EP now at the end of September, beginning of October.
Okay, guys, that's an exclusive.
Yeah.
We've got an exclusive that we are dropping. The song Jayeng Suyegu is there.
Yes. There by 1C. We have
there's this other song that you wrote, Be Still and Know.
Oh yes, we're dropping that. Yeah.
And I was saying to the other guy, there's this song and they are both led by once more that the first song is Be Still and Know that at the right time I had the Lord will make it.
Yeah.
And then once more comes what Ngeke Suyegu.
Yeah.
Were you guys maybe sitting together and say like, let us survive this song?
No. I wish we could. No, we were not. He was somewhere else and I was somewhere else. And I think, you know, when I wrote the Lord at the right time will do it, it was just, you know, to encourage people who feel discouraged now and they feel stuck and they feel like things are not going the way they want them to go, because there's a lot of people who are depressed because, you know, you with Gospel Church with Neo, you're expecting that at this time you will be at a certain level and things have just not progressed at the same pace. I mean, for us as a church, we thought that by now we would be at a certain level we would have moved out of the venue where we are at, and all those kind of things. But COVID happened. But to say to people, to say, God at the right time will do it.
Yeah. You know, Murut, there are a lot of things that when we are alone, we try to understand us.
Sure.
When we are growing up, we were being told about soul ties.
Yes.
And, you know, what is soul ties? There are a lot of things that like, is this thing real or
sure.
I don't know if maybe some knowledge or information that you can just break it down to about soul ties or soul ties. Sure. Is it really there or okay?
And I think the essence, the short answer is yes, soul ties are there. Because when you sleep with someone, when you have sex with someone, let's just, you know, maybe someone will say sleep, they think when you are parallel next to someone. No, when you have sex with someone, sex is a physical, a spiritual, and a soul act. And in that act, you connect with someone at that level. And there are soul ties that are weak. So you sleep with someone and then the souls don't tie, the spirits don't tie, and it's just, you know, you just continue. But then there are people where you sleep with them, then the soul ties. Because in fact, that thing is not a bad thing. It's supposed to happen in marriage. You're supposed, when you sleep with your wife or your husband, then your souls become one. Now you have become one with your girlfriend, and then you sleep with another one, then there's another one, then you sleep with another one, then your life is, you are connected to all these things that were not, that was meant to be a connection to share with your wife or your husband.
Okay, I think we clearly said it now. Sex before marriage,
sure,
it's a sin. Is sex out of marriage a sin while you are married?
Is it adultery? 12%.
Only the doctrine is a pain. The one it teaches about you can lose your salvation, and then we work out like persistence about Bassist. Is it once saved, always saved?
No. Once you are saved, you are always saved.
You cannot be unsaved.
No, you can't be unsaved. You can't be unsaved. But are you living? Because I think we salvation is we enter into a relationship, right? That's what Christ has done. He's given us access to enter into a relationship with God. In our sinning, in continue to sin, we lose out on that relationship that we have entered into. We do not enjoy the essence of the relationship that we have entered into. We actually violate that relationship that we have entered into. We take the love that Christ has shown us and we throw it in his face. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like my daughter, she can never not be my daughter, regardless of what she does. But there are stuff that he can do that will prohibit her from enjoying the fullness of a relationship with me. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's where I stand as far as that is concerned.
And you are mentioning your daughter, and I'm wondering, but like we are in the times of GBV, and I always wonder, like how is it to raise a young girl in this generation?
And we're in a generation of GBV, but we're in a generation where women are independent. We're in a generation where women are building big companies. They are leading ministries. We're in a generation where women are empowered. Women are changing the world. So I can sit at home and worry about GBV and my child living in this kind of world. Or I can sit at home and consider the opportunities that he had that women 100 years, 10 years ago, 20 years ago did not have. I choose the latter. Not to say GBV does not exist, but I'm not gonna, allow that to dictate how I begin to interact and view my child.
Okay. And I think like we just need to be careful around that, or like how we shouldn't even dictate about and all that. Let everyone be.
Absolutely. I'm firm believer on autonomy. You know, now we're conversating around the vaccine as an example, to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. I'm like, I'm a pro-vaxxer, but I'm not going to throw that on anyone's. I'm like, I'm a pro-vaxxer through and through. I believe in vaccinating. My child is getting vaccinated. You get what I'm saying? But no, none of us have been in a pandemic before. Let's stop acting clever. We don't know what we don't know. We're all just trying our best. Let's create space where everyone's just allowed to do what they think is best for them.
So you are not worried for like Bazalani, they will cancel you, 666.
Yeah. I think if you have not called me, you can't cancel.
Yes.
Yeah. You did not call me. You can't drop my phone if you did not call me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. You are. No, you are just canceling yourself out of my space. You can't cancel me. You did not call me.
Oh, I did not expect that. Like, okay, and it's a good thing. Like, we are always worried about being canceled.
Oh, hey man, yeah. No, you didn't call me. Really?
So, on a serious note, like, you'll also be very careful on what you say. Or like, ish, what if they cancel me?
The only my primary responsibility is to preach the gospel, right? And I must be wise in doing that, but I cannot be worried about being cancelled. And sometimes, when we get cancelled, who is this person who's cancelling you?
We don't even know.
You don't even know. That's the thing. You are cancelled by strangers that you don't even know, but you're losing sleep over them. No, man, they don't even help me pay my bills. No ways. We have given society too much power over us. No ways. You cancel me.
You know, there's this new trend on social media from Christians.
Yeah.
How
Yeah, man, you know what? We're living in interesting times, eh? We're living in interesting times. I think we're living in times where it's all about convenience and not conviction. So we respond to what's convenient. It has become convenient to be in the middle. We don't want to offend anyone. You know, we want to. And it's crazy that when you go into Muslim communities or into other religions, it's either you are in or out. It's only in our Christian circles where there's room to accommodate all these other things. It's crazy. We lack conviction. We are really, really a Christian generation that is so concerned with convenience. We just want to be liked by people. I mean, you are loved by God. Why are you concerned about who likes you, doesn't like you? Come on, man.
You mentioned like we want to be in between them. Going back to the local church again.
Sure.
But like when you started the Mmuso Church, did you maybe wonder like, okay, I want this church, maybe we can bring unbelievers and then somehow, somewhere we compromise our values, or your values, they just remain your values.
No, so here's the thing. The mission is the same. The method changes. I always say, marry the mission, date the method. So the method can, we can change the method, but the mission is the same, to transform people's life through the gospel of Jesus Christ. If we compromise the gospel of Jesus Christ, we're going to make you comfortable, but your life is not going to change. So my primary calling is not to make him do comfortable. My primary calling is for him to discover his relationship with Christ and the purpose that he has. If he doesn't like me for that, tough for
him. Is there
apostles used to wear dresses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, let me just say for AFM.
Yeah.
It was tough to see a pastor.
Sure.
For when like still
you know what? Like I say, I'm always careful not to speak for other people that I don't know. But for me, I did not make a conscious decision to wear torn jeans. This is who I am every day. This is just my vibe.
Yeah.
So and I made a conscious decision that I'm not gonna show up as someone I'm not, lest I create an environment to be put on a pedestal. So you must know that this is me, man. And if I'm not your pastor, It's not gonna offend me. Yeah, I'm just not your guy. You prefer the guy with the shiny suit. That's cool, you know. We're not. Yeah, it's just about vibes.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, you don't like the torn jeans. I like the torn jeans. Yeah.
Do you maybe have someone who says like, this is my mentor, and you are still in communication with them, or you are just you and your God?
I have 5 mentors. Yeah, I have 5 mentors whom I speak to regularly because there's different spaces in my life where I need them to speak to. Like, for example, I have a business mentor, and I have a church mentor, and then I have a marriage mentor. So I have these mentors that speak into different areas in my life. I believe that, you know, having a mentor is I don't want to make mistakes that someone else has already made. Right? So I'm like, you have already walked this path. Let me piggyback on that. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good. I mentioned you are a songwriter. Do you ever write songs for people, for gospel artists or whoever?
Yeah, and it's tricky though. I think I write songs and then a gospel artist hears it and then they say, can I use the song? And I say, yeah, no, cool, you can. But there's a couple of times where gospel artists said to me, can you write a song for me? And I failed. You know, I tried. I sat and I tried and I failed. And I realized that when you write songwriting is like giving birth. It's very personal, at least in my sense. I have to feel where God is, what God is doing in my life, what is He saying to me. So to write a song for someone else, it's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky. I try. I really try. And maybe I'll grow to that level. But for now, it's really tricky. But I've written for very few people, but there are people that I've written songs for.
We are still on songwriting, and in our church, like, it's very rare to sing others' songs.
Sure.
Is it a decision where you all know about the royalties and all that, or like you cannot opera peanuts about Sapatela, or it was just one of the things that you said, okay, this is where we want to go?
Yeah, I think just like sermons, God gives me message for the congregation He has given to my stewardship. And those messages can be in sermons and can be in songs. So that's basically it. It's not that deep.
Sermons. What's the difference between a sermon and a message?
A sermon and a message. It's the same thing.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, you're preaching a message, you're preaching a sermon. I mean, what's the difference? I don't know. Is there a difference?
Okay, we were talking about this, like, okay, is there a difference there
between a message and a sermon?
Message and a sermon.
I think it's the same thing. Here's the thing, about me. I'm very, easygoing. I don't like complicating stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't. If maybe in churches there's a difference between a message and a sermon. Sorry, pastors, if you're watching this. For me, I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah. What's one thing that your faith, like, you can say, okay, this is one of the craziest moments of faith that's ever done for you?
The craziest moment of faith, I think, being trusted to be a father, being trusted with a life, I think for me is a constant journey of faith, because I really don't know what I'm doing. I honestly don't know what I'm doing, and God is trusting me with this thing. And every single day my child goes to sleep. She has not died. She's growing. Now she's 1 year 7 months, and she's already saying hallelujah. She's saying amen. When she hears a song, she takes a PlayStation joystick, and then she, and I'm like, okay, it's a journey of faith. We're going blind here. Yeah, it's
because you don't have in context. What's manual?
Yeah. And regardless of how many, and maybe this is me, maybe I'm a slow learner, but regardless of how many YouTube channels you watch, and how many books you read, hey, my brother, when you are there in the moment, it's a different total story.
Yeah.
Because when someone was writing that book, they did not have, someone says, when your child does this is what you must do. They don't have the emotional connection I have with the child. So it's easy for them to write it. from their experience than for me to implement it when my child is sick at here. And no, it's great.
Okay. I hope one day Modimo can bless and can one be pure in spiritual and practical?
Can one be pure in spirit and in practice? What do you mean?
Like to remain purity. I mean, you always hear people like, no, purity and all that. So I'm just one guy who will just be wondering, like, okay, it's a
sure.
And we have people like you maybe can give us a better understanding when we have a chance to talk. So I thought, okay, I'll ask him to do this one.
Sure. I think, spiritual purity is not much about what you are running away from as it is about what you are running to. Oftentimes we obsess over trying to be pure, and I'm like, forget about trying to be pure. Just focus on pursuing a life-giving relationship with Christ, and in pursuit of that, you lose the appetite for these things. But you're sitting there, you're like, I want to stop watching porn. And in doing that, you are actually thinking about it. But when you say, I want to start serving a church, I want to start reading the word more, I want to start praying more, I want to start fasting more, and you start pursuing Christ, suddenly the appetite for that thing is gone. It's like in marriage, you look for ways to express love to your wife and keep your relationship fired up and all those things, and you don't spend time saying, how do I not think about Dibuse? You forget about just think more about how do you just love your wife. So we are so sin conscious that we forget to love on Christ.
So we're not gonna too much
TV and pray there, and be in a circle of people that are life giving, be solution oriented.
Is it one of the things that most of us brothers in church that we are suffering from? Pornography.
I don't know if it's most. I don't have the stats. I don't know if luckily it's something that I've never struggled with, and this doesn't make me
special or something.
I just never found it interesting. For me, I was like, guys, why would you watch two people busy there? I mean, I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's shuffle and preach.
Sure.
5 minutes. There'll be a timer.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
These are verses here. You take a verse.
Sure.
On that verse, you have 5 minutes to do a sermon. Only one verse. That's you.
This is such a tough thing. Who came up with this thing? Okay, not fine. All right. Ephesians 1:4. What does Ephesians 1:4 say?
Let us check it in.
Ephesians 1:4. Ephesians 1:4. Ephesians 1:4. What does Ephesians 1:4 say?
Do we know it by head? No.
For the foundation.
Continue.
Okay, so Ephesians 1:4. Just as he chose us in him before the foundations of the earth, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. Just as he chose us in him before the foundation of the earth, that we should be holy without blame before him in love. We live in a time where people think salvation is an afterthought for God. That, after we had sinned, then God says, what can I do? We don't realize that without even an ounce of performance, we were already loved. Before you sinned, with all the potential to sin, before the foundations of the earth, Christ was not a backup plan. He was the original plan, and he still is the original plan. And that's why this scripture says, before the foundations of the earth, this world that we're living in, it needs you to perform before it accepts you. You need to perform at a certain level. You need to have a certain... Now, when Gospel Church with Neo will begin to gain numbers, sponsors will come. God, before you even had one follower, he had already chosen you. And that is where we must live from. And when we understand that, you know what? When I didn't even have the right English, God chose me.
Mhm.
When I didn't have the right qualification, God chose me. When I didn't have the right background, God chose me. When I didn't have the right connection, God chose me. Then you realize that you don't have to perform for man because you are already chosen. Before the foundations of the earth, he chose me and you. That's why in Romans 5 verses 8, he says, God displayed his love for us that while we were still sinners, when we were not the greatest, when we're not the... So it is not our greatness that makes us attractive to God. It was actually our brokenness that made it. In our brokenness, we became attractive to him. Now, what I'm saying to you is stop trying to perform for people because you're already accepted. And that's what the world needs to know. That's what we need to tell people, to say, listen, man, the cancel culture it will never cancel the love of the one who created you. Don't perform for these people. Today we are depressed because regardless of our performance, people are never satisfied. We are performing day in and day out. You see, Gospel Church with Neo, you're going to have 2 episodes now. There's someone who's still going to criticize you. There's someone who's going to find something wrong about it. And if you are not deep rooted in the love that found you before the foundation of the earth, that is going to depress you. Someone is going to say, who does he think he is? Whatever. Someone is going to find something wrong with what you are doing. But if you are deep rooted in the love of God, that will not shake you. That will not shake you. And I think that's where we need to go back to. We need to know that before the foundations of the earth,
you reminded me of Be Lifted.
Yes.
On the Mmuso
album, yeah.
You were talking about being depressed and being oppressed.
Sure.
And you need to be lifted up.
Absolutely.
As much as this moment, it was kind of throwing shade somehow.
Yeah.
It was that moment that you need to be lifted up.
Yeah.
Because God has loved us before and He loves us so dearly.
Yeah.
Why should we focus more about what the world is saying about us?
And listen to what he's saying now. He says, I've called you to be holy. So holiness is an inbuilt capacity. You have the capacity within. It's not something you need to try and reach somewhere. It's a capacity, it's built in. You know when they say something is built in? You know when they you know that thing when they say something is built in. So it doesn't, the building surrounds sound. It means it's already in there. You don't have to buy anything extra. The problem why we are not living holy lives because we think it's something that we need to get from somewhere. We don't understand that it's built in. We use God's love to excuse sin. You know, someone will be sinning and they say, but God loves me. You're like, do you understand that God's love actually sets you apart to be holy? That's what it does. It does not, if anything that allows you to live in sin is not God's love. God's love sets you apart to be holy. It's inbuilt. The holiness you seek is already inside you.
Yeah, that was a powerful sermon.
Oh, is it?
And I don't think you are done.
Muru,
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Like I've called you a few times. Times were not allowing you. But at least
keep busy.
Muruti was said for it. Like we need to be busy. It's not that we have haters.
No one hates you, my brother. People are busy living their lives. Now suddenly you have 500 subscribers. You know, people hate me. I stop. You don't have haters. People are busy trying to live their lives and stuff.
Yeah, but thank you, Murut. It was an informative session. Like it was a chill vibe.
Sure.
I enjoyed it.
No man. Thank you for inviting me. And you guys are doing well, man. I trust that God will use what you guys are busy with to really change people's lives.
All right, no, thank you. You can leave the details of Mmuso if people want to visit.
Mmuso Church on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Mmuso Church. Yeah.
All right, then guys, please do check out Tsotle by Soul D. On
Why are you talking about Tsotle on my? This is my segment. Why are you talking about Tsotle? Why are you talking about Soul D?
I'm thinking about Tsotle, baby. Actually, no.
Wow, this guy is. Like, I don't get this. Why would you talk about Sotle, baby?
Sotle baby, like, okay, Sotle baby. But on a serious note, Murtu, thank you for being here. It means a lot to me and the team here. We appreciate you, and I personally love you.
Amen. Yeah, that's all
Everyone else.
I'm not. Yeah, no. Sure, guys.
Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Gospel Church of Neo on YouTube. I'm Neo Mudiapul. Until we meet again.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mosima Praise. Welcome to the social media segment right here on Gospel Chat with Neo. I'm so honored to still be chilling with Pastor Koketso. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very well,
Good,
thank
good,
you.
good,
So we just have some trivial questions, nothing hectic,
Okay.
really, just for our people to get to know you a bit
All
better.
right. It's good.
Awesome. So do you remember the first title of the sermon you preached, or the title of the first sermon you preached?
No, I will be lying to you, hey? I don't remember it. Shoo. One of my most memorable sermons that I preached earlier in life was Potiphar's Wife is Coming for You.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the title. Such a long title. Yeah, Potiphar's Wife is Coming for You. It sounds like a threat.
It does.
Potiphar's Wife is coming. Yeah. So that is
Caution everybody.
in my earlier days. Yeah.
Awesome. And would you rather sit at a dinner table with Prophet Elijah or with the Apostle Paul?
Paul. Absolutely. I'd rather
Why
sit with
the
Apostle
Apostle Paul?
because he's a writer, you know, he's a contemporary thinker. He's palatable to me, at least. You know, it's easy to kind of get him. Prophet Elijah was a bit deep. So yeah, I would rather sit with Paul.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Paul was single. He doesn't have to rush home. So that
yeah, you have the whole day.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah, we can chat. Yeah.
And if God gave you an option to choose between the worship ministry or being a preacher, which one would you choose?
Shucks. I love singing. And I'm a horrible singer. I think
the bass line and the pulpit.
Can I preach 1 week and sing?
Yeah, you have to choose one.
I have to choose.
Yes.
I'm preaching.
Oh,
yeah,
lovely,
yeah,
lovely. And UEFA Champions League or PSL?
PSL.
Really?
Yeah, PSL. UEFA. Yeah, UEFA is the best, but I'm very patriotic. You know, I love everything local. You know, people ask me, why couldn't you, say some English name for the church? I'm like, no, man, I love local stuff. I'm pro local.
You're a whole boy.
Yeah, there you go. I'm that guy.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pussy for life.
Yeah,
we are dying, but hey, you know what? It's fine. We are dying.
God's so good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's truly a pleasure
to
have you.
All right, thank you.
And you can connect with us on all our social media platforms. On Twitter, it is Gospel Chat with Noah. On Instagram, it's Gospel Chat with Noah. And on Facebook, it's Gospel Chat with Noah. Do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.